Welcome to the UNSECURITY podcast. Each week, Evan and Brad give an inside look at current information security news, breaches, best practices, and other things you should know to improve your information security. Here are your hosts, FRSecure's Evan Francine and Brad Nye.
Hey, UNSECURITY podcast listeners. This is episode 63, even though my show notes show episode 62. And the date is January 20th, 2020. That's all the 20s. I'm Evan Francine, and it's good to be back. I'm hosting today's show, and joining me in studio is my friendly co-host, Brad Nye, and my left-hand man, Ryan Cloutier. Get it right.
Cloutier. Cola. Mr. RC.
Cloutier. What?
You know, that's...
I'm just going to... Well, it's going to become an ongoing gag.
He told me on Saturday that it's French, so I think Cloutier.
I love you guys.
I'm going to call you a different name every time.
I like it.
Every pronunciation is different.
Yeah. But you guys catch that? I called him left-hand man. Yes. You know why I did that?
Why'd you do that, Evan?
Well, because I was called you my right-hand man. I can't have two right hands. That would be super weird.
That would be very weird.
So I have a right hand and a left hand. Now I'm right-handed, so I write with this. So I'm going to have to become ambidextrous. Is that what they call that?
That is what they call it.
Okay. So Ryan's left hand, your right hand. So I have no more hands. So this is it. That's all I've got. All right. So you guys didn't catch that? Stumped, maybe. Probably not.
Stumped.
You were stumped. Well, this is early for Monday morning, right?
I'm still waking up. So.
I'm just thrown by you being in studio.
I'm thrown by being in studio.
This is the first time we've actually all been together.
Holy crap, it is.
Okay, so I need you to go stand in the corner and talk directly into the corner. So we can,
do you want me to go call
into
in?
The sound?
Yeah, we got to get the sound.
Should I go back in my office and I'll call in? All right. We have a ton to cover today, so we can start with catching up quick. I like doing that, especially being that I have been out, for a while. So you guys are cool with that, yeah?
Absolutely.
For sure.
All right. So back home, holiday party. So I got home on Saturday. I left. Did you see the picture? I didn't show you the picture. I tweeted it. The picture of the sunrise, the morning.
Yes, I did see that.
It was like amazing. And it was 79 degrees when I left.
It was not 79 degrees here.
2:00 in the afternoon. I step off the airplane and it's...
Oh, it was like
2.
Yeah, I was going to say it's about 4 degrees or something.
Yeah.
And the wind chill was like 15 or 20 below.
And it was snowing and it was ice. The roads were icy. I was even thinking, I wonder if they're going to cancel or postpone the Christmas party just because the roads were that bad.
They were pretty slick. We had a little bit of a fishtail as we were driving over.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I got home, went home, airport, home. Wife had to shower. I don't do that. I don't shower. You guys know that. And then off to the holiday party. And that was awesome. So, Ryan, this is your first FRSecure / Security Studio holiday party. What'd you think?
I thought it was really good. You guys, did a good job on the spread. There was decent food to eat. Drinks were flowing. Nice venue.
Yeah.
I think, And everybody was having fun, huh?
Did you get to meet everybody?
Oh, no. Not even close. I did get a chance to meet a few new faces and, start to have some early discussions. I'll be a little less shocked as I walk around the office when I see people.
Yeah.
I'll at least be able to I saw you at the party. But I still got a lot of folks here to really get to know. So
that was cool.
It's getting harder and harder to actually get around and talk to everyone.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many people. It's amazing. But
I spent 2 hours, I think, at that party just going from person to person, giving hugs. People were, I think, shocked. I think some of the people that had never met me before, or maybe some of the people that were spouses who had never met me, because I was talking spouses too. I was like, whatever.
Okay.
It was fun. It was really cool to see everybody there. Yeah, we had that whole place. I mean, we had some people were bowling.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
We had 2 karaoke rooms. People were in there. Did you see that?
I saw some on social media. I was trying to drag my wife into the karaoke room, but she wasn't having it. So I skipped that.
Now she's a singer?
No. Well, she sings, but when no one's around.
Okay. All right. How about you? Did you go in the karaoke room?
No. I watched
You watched it.
From outside as we walked by.
Are you not a singer?
No.
Yeah, I'm not a singer either. Only
I
when
saw Harmon in there at some point.
Harmon is a singer.
He's a singer. He's really good at singing. But then we had people. We had the pool table.
Pool, ping pong.
The bar. We had 2 spreads of food.
Yeah.
Did you hit both lines?
I didn't. I thought the second line was a duplicate of the first. And then right at the very end, I was like, do you know they had mac and cheese over there? And I'm like, what? Oh, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a fun time.
Yeah. Did your wife enjoy herself?
Yeah, she likes it.
Yeah. I finally get to tell her face to face, thank you for the T-shirt.
Oh,
The T-shirt's awesome. I'll wear it in one of these days. But it's got a big beard, and I can't remember exactly what it says.
I have a beard and I know things. It's what I do.
Boom. But, so the holiday party was cool. And that reminded me why I come back. You know what I mean? It's not for the weather. I mean, hell no.
No.
It's for the people. You know,
Yeah.
and get to see everybody. It was perfect to come back. Made for a long day.
It's amazing how so many different personalities and people like just get along.
Yeah.
Like people are just mingling and
We have a saying here, right? No dickheads.
Yeah, very true.
They don't have any.
I haven't met one yet.
And we did have, I don't want to call him a dickhead, but the last time I remember, I mean, we weeded him out, or that team weeded him out within, a week?
Yeah. Yeah.
They police themselves. Right?
Yeah. They'll let us know if it's like, hey, there's a culture issue here, or somebody's not pulling their weight or whatever.
That's cool. So today we have the all company meeting.
Yeah.
Q1 2020. First time we've all been together this year. Have you looked at the slide deck?
Oh, so many times.
You put together a lot of it, didn't you?
Yeah.
I have one slide. It's just my name.
There's been so much work on that slide deck.
It's just an intro slide.
Yeah.
No, he's like at the end.
I am. They saved me to the end.
Okay.
Because I took too much.
Yeah, then we have a hard stop. Keep him in check.
Yeah.
I can see where that's
usually Renee sitting up in the front, the front row. And she'll be like, she's giving me the time thing. I'm like, I'm just getting started.
Just warming up. What do you mean I got to stop?
Yeah. Well, it'll be fun to see everybody in the same room. I love that part.
Yeah.
You look out in the room, and because, how many years have you been here now?
3.5.
3.5. So we've grown a lot.
July of 16.
Doubled, tripled in size?
So actually, Kevin and I were talking about this on Saturday. I want to say when I started, I was active employee number 15 or 16.
Really? Oh gosh, so we've quadrupled.
And then, my actual employee number or whatever was 26 overall.
Okay.
So obviously there's turnover over years. So,
yeah.
But 16 to 70 something. I can't even keep track.
Wow. Yeah. And you're security studio, but you straddle both lines. I mean, you do some FRSecure work too. So, but I wonder what number you would be, because you're one of the newest hires.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think we've hired anybody since I came on board 2 weeks ago.
But I've heard we got 3 more
There's
salespeople.
3 people starting today.
Nice.
It's crazy.
Well, that's exciting, though. It's good to be in growth mode, right? That's how we're going to be able to get out there and get the hard work of fixing things done, right? We're going to need people.
Well, what blows people away is when we talk. I tell them that, and then say, and it's all organic. It's no investor and seed money. It's all just organic growth. And it just blows people's minds.
We have some awesome plans for this year too.
Yeah.
I think Denver, it sounds like we might be opening an office if we haven't already in Denver. Yeah. And then I think John got back from Dallas last week, and I heard rumors that
that's because he's a weird Cowboys fan.
I know, right?
It's weird.
Yeah. Dallas gets cold too, so I'm not.
There's some other, I think, several different areas that we're looking at.
What do you guys think about a Cancun office? Can either of you speak Spanish?
My daughter can, so I'm in.
Poquito.
I've got translators at home, so
I got the Google app. Don't worry about it.
Well, it's funny because
I'll figure it out.
The first day I sat down, there's a place I like to write. It's called La Isla. It's a mall, outdoor mall, and there's a Starbucks there, right? So I sat down, opened my laptop and I'm like, I wonder how many Wi-Fi hotspots there are around here. So I opened up NetStumbler and I'm like, holy balls, there's like 40 some odd, 45 maybe. I don't know. I saved it off, but most of them were insecure. There were a handful that were running WEP. Like, yeah, we could open an office here. I mean, we should.
Well, and, that's interesting you bring that up, the international side of things, right?
Right.
Before we started this morning, we were chatting a little bit about our friends over in Australia.
Right.
They're very far behind the curve. I would say that region, that Asia Pacific region as a whole, just getting started on their journey.
Wow.
And then we've got our friends in the UK who are also a little bit further ahead, but still kind of behind the curve. And so as we solve challenges here in the States, I think they can leverage a lot of the work we're going to be doing over the next year internationally, since the U.S. is really seen as a leader in the information cybersecurity space.
That's a good point.
And NIST is kind of seen as the dominant framework, if you will. So I think there's going to be some growth potential and opportunity, not just in Cancun, but other warmer destinations in the world.
That's a long flight. Have you ever been to Australia? Either one of you? I've never.
I've been, the furthest over that side I've been is Malaysia, and that was a haul. That was a serious flight. I went Minneapolis, Tokyo to Seoul to Kuala Lumpur.
Closest I've been is Bulgaria. Shout out to our Bulgarian friends. Hey guys.
Hey.
We have a team of developers over there. Rock stars. They're pretty awesome. They made me eat sheep face.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
Yep. I've had a similar experience with
sheep face.
A Latin friend of mine made sheep in a trash can. So one of the old school metal trash cans, right? You remember the classic, quintessential trash can?
Yeah.
Yep, galvanized metal. Stuck it on a giant, propane burner. Filled it up with water. Started throwing hunks of sheep in it, and we had that was the day I tried blood salsa. That was interesting.
Wow.
Well, culture,
I can't
right?
say. I mean, was it good? That's the important part.
We're on the
different
air right now, right?
It was different.
It was different.
You tried it. That's the important part.
They didn't tell me it was sheep face.
Did you like it?
No.
You didn't like it?
I was like, what is this? And they're laughing. What the hell? Like,
the best part of that
eat some more of it and then see if you can figure it out. I'm like, okay. And ate some more of it. I still don't like it, man. What is this thing? Oh, it's sheep face. I'm like, shut up. What is that?
I love how that guy thing is, like international.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's
for sure.
totally just like, ooh, you got to try this.
Right. Well, at least he got, the front end of the sheep instead of the back end of the sheep.
Right. We all got him. Yeah. Well, and that's what they told me, right? It was sheep face. It might have been the back end of the sheep.
You ever had Rocky Mountain oysters?
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard
that. That's somebody pulled that one on me. Oh, no, it's good, Ryan. You'll love it.
I'm allergic to shellfish. Sorry, can't help you.
There you go.
I know what they are.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying that's my excuse. No, shellfish, sorry, can't have it.
All right. So you guys, I went down there. So I originally went down to Cancun to write. I ended up doing a lot more work than I think writing. But you saw the outline. That's the first time you guys have actually seen it. When I put it kind of at the beginning of the show notes, where it's introduction, talking about information security operating system. I was going to call it the security operating system, but then that's SOS, right? So what we're using is sort of the entrepreneurial operating system. Gino Wickman wrote that awesome book called Traction, and it's become really, really popular, I think, for SMBs in how they run their business. So I wanted to follow kind of that same framework and create an information security operating system. We have so many good standards, so many good best practices, but I think where people struggle is really operationalizing it, making it part of their business, making it part of the day-to-day. And Gino Wickman did that awesomely in the EOS. So let's do it with the security operating system. So it starts with, if you've seen that book and you look at the chapter table of contents, similar. So we've got the information security operating system, Securing America, where we talk about small business, local government, education, and home. We all have experience there. I think where we really specialize is you know small business really, really well, and you also have a good overlap into education with some of the work that you've done, Brad. You're the guy that I would rely on 100% for education, but then you also have a nice spillover with local government, I think, really well. And then I kind of just a jack of all trades kind of, I don't think I'm super expert in any of those, but just good in all of them. But the good thing about security is security.
Right.
The basics are the basics. The fundamentals are the fundamentals. It doesn't matter if you're a government. It doesn't matter if you're a government or a school. We use different languages, maybe different dialects.
Yeah, it's a dialect thing. It's the biggest differentiator that I see across all the verticals is risk and how that risk is described, quantified, measured, and remediated. Right. What a local municipality considers to be risks and risks they need to address are not equal to what a K-12.
Right.
Shared systems, shared components, shared security framework and language you need.
Yeah.
But as we work with those partners, I think the bigger conversation differentiator is risk.
Yeah.
Same thing with our home users, right? Depending on the culture and community that you come from, you could have a different viewpoint on what is or is not a risk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly it. I think everybody, I agree. I'll just go with that. I was going to go on it, and I'm like, no, you know what? He pretty well nailed it.
I was waiting for some more wisdom, Mike. You had me on the edge of my seat. So
I agree.
That's the one for today. I got nothing left.
There you go.
Boom. Not bad for starting the week off with that. But, securing America. So it's describing really the problems in those, horizontals, verticals, whatever you want to call them. And then in Gino Wickman's book, he has 6 components that make up the EOS, the Entrepreneurial Operating System. I call out 5 components so far, in writing this book: the people component, the asset component. Right at the end of the day, it's about protecting our assets, and assets are tangible and intangible, and kind of going through all that. The control component. So you don't add controls until you understand your assets, right? I can't secure the things I don't know I have.
Right.
So that component builds on it. The process component, measurement component, so on and so forth. But I think the book will be really fun. I'm going to start. So I've got the outline. I'm starting to fill in the blanks, but then it's going to be real soon when maybe asking you guys to give me input and take your own.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to it, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited to try my hand at authorship, see how that goes.
Well, the good thing about being an author is you can suck at writing, and they have ghostwriters.
As long as your
you know what I mean?
Concepts and
Exactly.
the thoughts are there, they can make it look pretty.
Yeah. And I'm thinking, one of the things that might be fun is how we ghostwrite for each other. So I write my piece, share it with you guys. You guys are like, oh, I communicated this way.
Yeah.
And you guys end up ghostwriting for me, and I'm ghostwriting for you.
Yeah, it's going to be
cool.
It'll be interesting because, everybody has just that slight different take on it. And so, like you said, words have meanings, right? So everybody has just a slight different way. And
it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to collaborating with you guys because I think we're all going to learn a little bit more about each other and our viewpoints, mindsets, and how we approach the problem. And I think that's going to be probably, for me, that's probably the coolest part of this is I love being able to get inside other people's minds and look at things from a different angle. It's part of the social engineering work. It's part of the, security work too, is how do you relate to your humans? So to get in your guys' minds and let you into mine for as much as you can handle,
right.
it'll be fun.
Yeah, I agree. I think it'll be really cool. And it's a good, because you could always go off and write it yourself, but then you don't share in it. The whole experience, that's my computer again. It always does that because I don't turn off my crap. But this will help get your name out there, establish yourself as an expert in the industry because I know you guys. I know you guys really well, and I would trust my security program with either one of you in a heartbeat. The thing is, how many people know Brad Nye? How many people know Ryan Cola?
Cola. Yeah, we'll go with cola.
Right.
Not enough. That's my answer.
Yeah, there you go.
Right. But you guys have such good advice to share and a good perspectives. That's the second thing I'm looking for in the book is, it's not just my name on it, it's our names on it, right? We did it together. And I think it'd be really, really cool. Because I also don't like being the center of attention, believe it or not. So like when we had the book release party here, it's like everybody was here and, hey, and I was like,
you were so uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah, right? At least here I can share the stage with like two of my buddies and be like, yeah, these guys. So that's cool.
Very cool.
All right, so that's the book. That's what I was supposed to be working on. I got some of it done. For listeners who think, or maybe wondering when the book is going to be available, I'm shooting for third quarter. I would love to have it done. That means we got to get kind of going on it. But maybe June we'll have, a draft and go through the process, and maybe September we'll have this thing ready. So
very cool.
All right, so that's that. What else did I miss anything? Anything exciting with you guys in the last couple of weeks? Can you remember?
Last couple of weeks
it's a blur.
Crazy busy. Yeah, it's been a blur. Lots of good stuff. I think I have some notes that we can go over later to.
Yeah, you're going to spend some time with me.
Yep, catch up on a few things. A couple new opportunities that are on the horizon that we need to decide how we want to, or if we want to approach.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know that you missed a whole lot.
Okay.
I think it was more just things are moving fast. So there's some catching up to do. And
yeah, that's cool.
I got to spend some time with Lori. You missed that. You missed.
Oh yeah.
That was fantastic.
Lori's awesome, isn't she?
She's great. She did a really good job on articulating the higher level risk question. So didn't need to dive into all the details. She was able to kind of frame that out at a single question.
See, that's what
she's like an artist.
Yeah. It was really cool to watch her work.
That's one of the things I think we do and the analysts do so well is it's not going through and asking every question, right? It's let's talk about this. And okay, so tell me about, and just that conversation and being able to parse and being able to answer the assessment questions out of what people are saying.
Yeah. And
it's definitely a skill. And I think our team is, really good at doing that and not just, do you do this? Do you do this? That you would see like in an audit.
Right. Well, the customer who shall remain unnamed, very cool stuff they do over there. So I got to geek out. I've been working in schools for the last few years, and I forgot, that there were other industries out there. And so getting to tour the facility, do the physical side of the assessment, which is something I always enjoy, was really cool. And getting to help out Lori was just, the icing on the cake.
Well, one of the things I think that makes our analysts so good, other than the fact that they're just super good quality people, is what they did last Friday. I know we had a consulting incident response, tech ops, lunch and learn that they did. I wasn't able to be in those. I love participating in that, just to listen to, but I looked at the slides and what was covered. It sounded like it was just an awesome day.
It was really good. I think a lot of good discussion. We had some operations or non-analysts that sat in just to kind of understand more, what we do. And it's funny. I think we all take for granted, but it's just a second language to us, right? It's just native. And I got feedback that it's like, it blew my mind. Like I didn't understand half of like what was being said. And you guys are just like bantering around. Like this is just normal stuff. And it was really good. It was fun to see, more consulting with the governance and the assessments and VCSO and then in tech services. And, it's always good to get those guys, both teams really, tied together, working together. And there's so much good that both can give to each other.
See, I love it. I love the collaboration. It's like my favorite.
Yeah.
Were you in on that on Friday?
I was not, but I will definitely, the next one that comes up, I will definitely check it out.
We're going to start doing this quarterly.
Okay.
When everybody's in, we're going to do a lunch and learn and just get people.
There's leftovers in the fridge too, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I think Friday we were down at, Thursday we were down at the Minnesota School Board Association conference. That was really great. Got to take Justin with.
You were speaking there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. did a series for the folks on cybersecurity as a life skill, and really talked to the school board about what they need to do to empower their IT folk to bring in services and outside expert help, trainings, that type of stuff. So a lot of fun. I love preaching. You know that. Give me a stage and I'll just
And Justin was like jacked because I saw him at the Christmas party, and he was saying how. I mean, you were there for another 40, 45 minutes afterwards answering questions. People were cutting. There's a line of people coming up to talk to you. That's awesome.
The Q&A piece is probably my favorite piece. While I like to give the presentation, I'd much rather just hear from the individual. What are you concerned about, and how can I help you get over it?
So we had that really bad storm Friday into Saturday. Friday night, they were going to.
That's what it was. I had to go.
The weather was great where I was. I don't know what you're talking about.
So my son's elementary school was going to show the documentary Like. Oh, have you heard of this? It's about like social media and kids and stuff. So it's going to show it to the parents. It's like 45 minutes. And I taught you've met with the principal.
Yep.
And she emailed me on Monday and said, I'd really like it if you could make it just as be able to answer questions and interact. And it got canceled, but they'll reschedule that here, I think, in a couple of weeks. So I'll be able to.
That's cool.
Do that. That'll be fun
that will be
answer questions for parents who are now like completely freaked out after watching
give them the old digital birds and bees talk.
Right. It's pretty much what it is.
So another thing that happened last week was we announced we opened the registration and announced the CISSP mentor program. Now, and I don't want to talk too much about it because it's coming up later too, but we had over 400 registrations in the first 24 hours.
The on-site filled up in under 2 hours.
Wow. That's awesome.
That is
unreal.
Awesome.
We doubled the amount we had from last year.
That's cool. We're going to talk more about that. That's awesome. All right. Well, lots of things, man. I mean, you talk about going 100 miles an hour when we're all doing that all the time, which is kind of cool, but it also gets tiring. Lots to look forward to. Love being back. Love you guys. It's awesome being here. It means a lot to me. Last week I had to run halfway through the show. I had to take off because I had another meeting. But we were talking about the tensions between the United States and Iran and how it affects us all. There's this talk of the cyber war between us. But I just wanted to close the loop. I don't know what I missed in the last half of that show. There are some new kind of developments, but not really nothing earth-shattering. It's still the same old, right?
Yeah,
don't be collateral damage. Getting your own self up. And I think you'll be okay. Did I miss anything in the last part of that show?
No.
Because I don't listen to the shows. You guys know that, right? I can't stand listening to myself. I hate it.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Listening to myself, watching myself, stick needles in my eyes.
It's not so bad.
But the last half of the show, things were, did we discuss anything else about the
No, I think
setting?
Pretty much
I think what we talked more about, and while I do listen to the show, memory is not always my bestest friend.
That
really
gets worse with age, you know that.
Oh,
right?
yeah, I'm so excited. I think it's more about the end user now, the end consumer, small business, home user. They're going to have more actions and activities. So as NSA and CISA and those organizations continue to put out these urgent releases, the Citrix flaw, for example, right? We don't know the whole story behind that. What we do know is that a hacker gained access to a machine, or as I like to refer to them, cyber criminals, and then set up persistence and then patched so that others could not use the same flaw to access the machine. And I think it's just the rate at which the patches are going to come out.
What do they call that? Not Robin?
Not Robin.
Yeah, I think that's what the name that FireEye gave it was Not Robin. This attack.
Yeah. So, that's I think that we're going to see more patching happening.
Okay.
And I think the activities with Iran are going to help raise awareness at the lower levels of business and just the end consumer, really.
It's an opportunity for the small businesses that maybe were having trouble getting buy-in to now say, hey, here's why we need to do this, right? We may make this one widget for this one piece, but guess what? We're part of that supply chain. We are now a target.
Yeah, and I think the local government is going to be a little more urgent this year to address some of the stuff that hasn't been addressed, just with the wave of ransomware. And, I think, Evan, you had mentioned on the last podcast about the nuisance attack aspect of it, where, we're not going to go toe to toe. It isn't going to be an outright, battleground.
Right.
It's going to be that subversive guerrilla style, and it's going to be tipping over cities and tipping over, public institutions, business disruption.
Yeah. Yeah. I just wonder if there's something in it for Iran to partner with some of the criminal organizations, because
strategically.
Well, it's strategic, and there's also a monetary gain for them, especially with the sanctions and everything else. And I know it would take a pretty big effort for them to raise the billions of dollars they need, but that's $1 trillion industry anyway.
Yeah.
Well, and we've seen that pattern already in North Korea and in Russia and in China. We've seen state-sponsored hackers being outsourced for financial gain. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I believe very much that could happen.
Yeah.
Well,
if it isn't already happening.
Right. And it's a way around the sanctions, right? I mean, their economy is in tatters right now. And I know that people get really creative when they're forced, to solve a problem. It's interesting.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see. I think, and it's going to be a while before we actually truly understand it too. Yeah. It's not like next week we're going to be like, oh, well, now we know. It's going to be months, years.
Right. Well, you and I had talked about that, Brad, as well, is that we think our prediction for 2020 is more set up and persist and watch, a lot of monitor, a lot of foothold, getting footholds in the environment, and then waiting and saving that access for something maybe bigger later.
Or they can just find open buckets on Amazon or whatever.
You can always do that, right?
When looking for data, check S3.
All right. Well, good. So I did just highlight, 4 news articles in the show notes. Nothing earth shattering, nothing all that new. Just reiterating a lot of the same things we've already talked about. So, rumor has it the world will not likely end today. And I say likely, there's always a chance, I suppose, that it could. So get right, I suppose. But we do need to stay vigilant. Complacency, ignorance, those will come with consequences. They always do. It may not be immediate, but it happens. It's going to happen. So if you're sitting on your hands, not taking care of the basics, not taking care of information security, not taking the time to learn it, it's going to catch up. Mm-hmm. Guaranteed. Switching gears. One other thing I want to talk about too. You have a new podcast that you're going to be kicking off. Do you got any news for us on that? Soon.
I'm going to be doing a K-12 focused cybersecurity podcast. So it's going to be a little bit different from this one. Mm-hmm. It is going to be more geared towards the K-12, audience, technical and non-technical, and really going to focus on actions and deliverables of the day. So, for example, I'm still toying with what the first episode's going to be, but it'll be things like, how do you do asset management? What are the tools? What are the techniques? What does that look like? So very similar to, I think, some of the work we're going to be doing in the book, but in more of a conversational format with different guests from across the security as well as the K-12 and government industries, getting their firsthand take on what are their challenges? What are their struggles? What can we do as security professionals to change how we're approaching the problem and what we're bringing to the table to make it more accessible, more palatable? So that's something I'm really stoked about, and more to come as I finish forming my thoughts. But ideally, that'll be starting up here in just a couple of weeks.
You say it's going to be more like short form, quick hits.
Yep, you're thinking probably around the half an hour mark.
That'll be cool.
Just something sweet, short to the point that they can get on their lunch break or on the drive-in, kind of jack them up for the day and get them
after they finish this one.
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
Excuse me. All right, so good. I look forward to more on that. That'll be fun. You'll be the host. It'll be K through 12 focused. Awesome. Do you have a name yet? You thinking?
I don't yet. I've got some on a short list, but maybe I'll bounce that around with you this afternoon.
Cool. All right. So switching gears again, because that's what we do around here. I want to talk about our mission. We talk about it. We refer to it often, and I'm not sure listeners, may not even know what our mission is. So it's something for us to talk about here, and then we can talk about the CISSP mentor program and how that fits into the mission. So open discussion. What is the mission, and what does it mean to you guys? So when you hear about the mission, it's to fix the broken security industry, right? The information security industry. What does that mean to you guys?
I think, you say it, it's talking the same language, right? Yep. Getting the fundamentals in place and kind of helping fix some of this money grab that we're seeing where everybody's just going out and spending money on blinky lights and they don't know what they should be protecting or where their things are or where they should be installing, the latest machine learning, AI, next gen solution. Yeah. Right. So I think it's getting people to understand the fundamentals and just be able to talk to each other and understand what the other people are saying.
Yeah.
For me, it is everything that Brad said, but it's also helping the people to understand the digital life component here. That's why you'll hear me really push the whole life skills angle. I believe that we've adopted technology into our most intimate parts of life, yet we've done so without any structure or any, boundaries of what is good and healthy use of this technology, what's appropriate, what's inappropriate. Yeah. We've barely scratched the surface on that. And so for me, part of fixing the broken industry is helping the community at large to become more security aware, to help put pressure on the security industry. Nothing motivates like commerce. Right. And so if they start using their vote and their wallet, so the end consumer, to demand cleaner, easier to understand, simpler to use solutions, and that they can start to know the right questions to ask to hold the vendors they do business with accountable. Mm-hmm. That's a big part of it for me, being involved with it.
Yeah. And you guys are, in my opinion, you guys are all 100%. And I just like to think of it as it's always doing the right thing.
For the right reason, with the right people. Well,
and that just the right thing, right? The right people, the right reason, that fits into doing the right thing. If it's not, and so the right thing is, it is about people. It's always about people. Information security is about people. And so one of the things that, makes it such a personal thing for me is there's the thing that I hate in this world is people taking advantage of other people. Mm-hmm. And there are so many ways that happens. And it's not just the information security industry. You could apply this to just about any industry. But when an attacker steals money from somebody, that pisses me off.
Yeah.
When a vendor sells something to somebody that they don't need, that pisses me off. It's taking advantage of people. Mm. And so from that perspective, and that's why I have rules, right? The one rule, if you ever sell a customer something they don't need, I'll run you over with my truck. Mm-hmm. I'm serious. Right. That pisses me off. I do not want to take advantage of people. We're here to help people. We're here to care about people, to love people, to, give them foundational components, things that they can build on. And if you've already got the foundation, then let's go talk blinky lights. If you've got asset management figured out, you've got governance figured out, you got roles and responsibilities figured out, you got access control figured out, you got all these fundamental things figured out, well then, let's do some AI, let's do some cool, funky stuff, But you going out and buying the blinky lights when you have no idea what you're even protecting, that's insane.
Right.
And so I get pissed off because I wonder who's worse some days, if it's the attackers or if it's the vendors taking advantage of other
Hard
people.
to tell the difference some days.
It is. It's taking money. It's taking money, right? Because every dollar you take from a company is a dollar that they can't spend on their mission.
I heard of a MSP we were one of our clients. They found they didn't have their O365 and didn't have MFA installed. And so they were working with their vendor and they're like, oh, well, we can upgrade you to this version to get you MFA. I'm like, wait a minute. Didn't so we dug in, and they already had it, but their MSP or whoever was selling them their licensing was going to upgrade them to the next tier just to get MFA. We're like, no, you have it already. You're good.
Turn it on.
You need to
There's this checkbox. What you want to do is click on it.
But yeah, those types of things, that's infuriating. Like,
Frankly,
really?
it's gross. The word that comes to my mind is gross.
Yeah.
It's just ick.
Totally. And so, because I've had people argue with me, well, the information security industry is not broken. And I say, how so? And they said, well, the industry is thriving. There's millions and millions and billions and whatever dollars being made. I'm like,
are we
but not
better
the
off?
right reason. Right.
Yeah.
You know, we still talk about the same things over and over and over again. You still read everywhere. People are using poor passwords. You know, people aren't turning on multi-factor authentication. People aren't doing this stuff.
Right. Yeah. The buckets are not being open to the public with driver's license, personal information, simple things that are not sexy, right? It's
what's sad is, you know, there was just a couple more that happened over the weekend, right? And if you don't have breach fatigue, go and Google and check them out. And if you do have breach fatigue, I'm sorry.
Just don't get breach complacency.
Exactly, right? But I think there's just so much of it, and it's so prevalent, and people don't know what to do. They don't know what to turn. Even though we've told them a million times about MFA, I was trying to teach my father and his sister over the weekend how to use their smartphones. And another relative of ours who's an IT guy tried and failed because he said, just go to the settings and then just do this and just do that.
Right.
And then they glazed over and they went, what's the settings?
Right.
Right. I don't speak what it doesn't say settings. It's pictures.
Well, that's why I love what we're doing too about meeting people where they're at.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. We're working right now on the level 0, S2 school, right? It's an assessment for schools that's level 0. It's the basic of the basics. And if you can't answer those questions, you know, we'll help you get there. But there's no sense in going with the full S2 org big ass assessment with 687 questions when you don't do these 74.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's a big issue with the industry is I think a lot of people in security and IT talk over the normal people.
Well, it's this all or nothing approach. You know,
like risk elimination is the goal.
Exactly.
Right?
And we know that's not, feasible. And I've run into many a security a-hole who firmly believes that it's, well, if they're not doing this and this and this and this, then if something happens, it's their fault. Well, wait a second.
Right.
What did you do to help get them to what I like to call the start line? And that's what that level 0 is all about. It's about, are you, we're going to run this marathon. Are you at the start line or are you still half a mile away from the start line?
Exactly.
And the marathon doesn't start until you get to the start line.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's what I love about our approach. I love the fact that these people sitting in this room right now doing this podcast are all bought in on this mission because at the end of the day, we do love people and we do understand that it's all about people and we won't take advantage of people. We will meet them where they're at. We'll do whatever it takes. And that's what the mission is, right? And that's why it's so damn important because I don't give a crap about your blinky lights if you keep clicking on links.
Right.
Yeah.
I just don't care if you're not backing up your data.
But I have the latest tool that if they click on a link, it's okay because it sandboxes it. So that doesn't matter.
Immutable backups.
Right.
And all the storage solutions being sold right now as being ransomware proof because they're immutable.
Reason why I left. That's the big reason why I left, the hacking piece of things, right? Because that wasn't the problem. Yes, that is a problem. But the bigger problem is people, right? And so I spend all my time today, like you do, working on the people part of security. What's a new angle? What's a new way I can communicate this? What's a new way that I can figure out how to meet people where they're at? And it's not sexy, right? Your tweets about policy or whatever the hell you're writing about are not going to get retweeted a billion times because it's not sexy.
Right.
A lot of times people don't even care. But the thing is, what these guys do every day, and I'm pointing to their, our technical services team, they find an exploit. You go fix it. It's broken 6 weeks from now because you don't have the process or the people.
Right.
right? To keep it the way it's supposed to be. So it's just, that's the thing. Anyway, I get kind of fired up about that because,
well, I mean,
damn, it's what we devote our lives to, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I'm with you.
All right. So, on that point, the CISSP mentor program registration, we mentioned it's open. What it is, we started in 2010. We had 6 students and we had 3 employees. So we had more students. We're about ready to have more students than we had employees then now too.
We did last year.
But we had 3 employees, and we wanted to start this thing because one of the things that's broken in our industry is we don't have enough people practicing the fundamentals. We don't have enough people to fill the open seats that we have in the industry. So we started with 6 students in 2010. It's grown. You've been helping me with it the last, 3 years? 4 years?
This will be year 4.
Yeah. And I think pretty soon I'll just hand it off to, now because Ryan's going to help this year too.
I'm looking forward to it. I just dusted off the CBK the other day because,
it is a good gut check of, I haven't thought of that since I took the test.
Bill LaPangela.
Right.
We've never read that again. But, and last year we had 530 students. This year we had over 400 sign up.
Already. Yeah, I don't even know what the latest number is.
And we only announced it once, right? We haven't done any marketing around it, which is super, super cool, right? Because it's 100% free. It will always be free. I can't even tell you how many times people have wanted me to charge for it.
Yeah.
Our own sales team, vice presidents that work here. We just charge $500 a piece for it. I mean, that's still, no, we will never charge for this. Not as long as I'm in charge.
Well, yeah. And it's definitely upset some people not here, but that do charge.
Right.
I love it.
I do too, because it serves a need and it's a way of giving back. I know this industry has been very, very good to me. I've made a good living being a security person. I will retire being a security person. And it goes back to our belief too, that if I focus on the mission, you'll make money. If you focus on the money, you're never going to make the mission.
Yeah.
Right.
And so
we
don't need to make money here. We have made, if you were somehow able to take what we've done with the CISSP mentor program and track that back to the money we've made from it, think of the people that have come through that program that have become friends of ours, that have become advocates of ours, that have become employees of ours. I mean, you look at like Megan as one example, who leads our, VCSO practice.
Yeah. Team lead. Yeah.
She freaking not awesome?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, okay, I would have done 10 years of CISSP mentor program for that.
Well, and for me, it's exactly that. Is being able to be, a resource and a mentor for those people trying to get in that, honestly, I just didn't have. Right? I would have loved to have had somebody like you, Evan, or somebody as I was trying to break in, and it wasn't a thing, right? It was just tough to do that. It was either, you're military or a hacker, and that's kind of, where you got that in, and it's not the case anymore. So just being able to help other people get into it and learn from my experiences, so it doesn't take them as long, and kind of not having to go through some of the issues or struggles that we all had to go through to get in.
Right. Well, there must be a big demand for it. I mean, the fact that many people have signed up that quickly, they must be looking for free training.
Well, I
They must
mean,
be looking for free mentorship.
yes, absolutely. It's growing. It's, I know I sent the link on to, my partners up at Alexandria Technical College.
Oh, cool.
Actually, this Friday, I'll be up there, giving 3 separate talks. I'm going to be talking to the high school Intro to Networking class, which is a feeder program to the college. I'm going to be talking to the college, and then I'm talking to the Alexandria area SHRM, the Human Resources Association, about what does it mean to onboard these kids that come out of college as security professionals. Was that, and I know a couple of those kids signed up to take the mentorship program.
I actually had I spoke last year at one of the local high schools, and the teacher reached out and said, hey, I have 2 students that I think would be interested. Is this going to be too much for them? I'm like, well, yes, but no, do it.
Right.
Like, there's going to be a lot of stuff that they're going to be like, I don't understand what this is.
Well, to learn to swim, you got to get in the pool and get wet.
Oh, by the way, Evan, as of 15 seconds ago, we are ahead of last year's registration. We're at 541 already.
That's crazy.
Awesome. That's awesome.
In less than a week.
It hasn't been a week and no.
Anyway, but yeah, you're starting to see, more and more people understand, hey, I can do it. And I've had people ask, well, I don't want to get into security. I just want to understand it. Like, from a business perspective.
Yep.
Yeah. Do it. Do you have to read the book and take the test? No. If you it'll change how you think.
Yep.
Just listening and hearing the concepts and all that. I think the other thing that people get a little bit confused of is it's not, hey, just do this and you're ready to go. Right. This is a part of it. We're going to give you the high level. Here's where you need to focus, but it's not like, oh, I took the class and so I'm ready to take the test.
Right.
And I think any of those boot camps or anything that promise you that are
100% guaranteed to pass.
Yeah. You still have to do the work. You still have to understand and study and memorize stuff.
Well, passing the test, so passing the test isn't the point. The point is in the CISSP in information security. The thing I like about the CISSP is it gives you the broad spectrum of what security looks like. So you can fit it in its proper perspective. I think that one of the easiest ways to tell a not very good CISO is by their inability to put risk into context. So they get myopic on one specific risk, and this is like the most important thing. We got to fix this. We're going to put all our resources to fix this. But then when you put it in perspective with the rest of the security program, it's not that big a deal.
Yeah.
And I've seen this happen over and over and over again. Like the most recent one was people had the name of the company and a picture of the person on their access badge. Right. And somehow this became the biggest risk of all time in this company. And so I sat down with the CISO and I said, well, let's talk about this, right? What's risk? He's like, well, it's, you know what it is. Let's define it. Likelihood and impact. So what would be the threat, right? The threat would be that somebody would find my card and come and take it and break into my building with this card.
Right.
Okay. Well, what's the likelihood of that happening? Well, I live in a low crime area. It's an inconspicuous, and when you really talk through it, you find out that the likelihood of this happening is next to nothing. Right. And what would the impact be? Because everything you have is in a data center. It's not here anyway. Right. So somebody would have to roam around and really have to surveil and, you'd have to be really, really targeted for this to become a real thing. And you're about ready to spend a couple $100,000 to rebadge everybody in your company for this.
Right. Well, and
I think maybe there's a better spend somewhere.
Go back to people.
Phishing training.
Right. Go back to the people.
Multi-factor. Yeah.
Asset management.
Get some Duo tokens. Spend it on that.
Right.
But if you train your staff, hey, my card got stolen.
Exactly.
You reset it. It goes back to the people and training and
right.
like those fundamentals.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? My house got broken into and I can't find my card.
When you fit that
disabled, done.
Exactly, and you fit that into the likelihood too, right? Even if I'm not trained to report it, I'm going to go to work on Monday.
It's not going to work,
and I can't get in the damn building.
Right.
So I'm going to have to get a new badge. Why are you getting a new badge?
Right.
Well, and I think the theme there is invest in processy over, swapping the badges, right? What's that really, to your point, what's it really going to accomplish? And if they'd have spent, I don't know, just even a couple of grand of that spend on some process improvement around how they track those badges and how they deactivate those badges. Yeah.
And you find that that's not, but that's the thing I love about the CISSP mentor program is the fact that you can talk about security the way it's actually built, right? It's like putting together a big jigsaw puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
Every puzzle piece fits together with another puzzle piece. And once you understand how it works, it's really easy to identify when you got the wrong puzzle piece. You got a broken puzzle piece. You're missing a puzzle piece altogether. So it's been a lot of fun for me. And it, as an instructor, with you and excited about this year with you, Ryan, the people you get to meet and then you get those emails from people.
Oh, yeah.
that say, hey, I took my exam and I passed it, or, can you endorse me? Stuff like that makes it all super worth it, man.
Oh, plus for sure.
Plus, every time you teach the basics, the fundamentals, it makes it more part of my own practice.
Yeah.
I mean, I become a better security person every time I teach it.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, there's parts that you just don't do on a daily basis that you are like, oh, yeah.
I forgot about that.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so good to...
I haven't subnetted for a while. And every time I get to that CBK, I do subnetting again. 2 to the X minus 2.
OSI layers. That was the kicker for me.
Yeah, I did encryption.
Well, I never learned OSI through what do they call that? Where you make the letters mean something, like the sausage pizza thing.
Oh, yeah.
What do they call that? Mnemonic,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I never learned it that way. I learned it the hard way because I wasn't that creative back then. So I've always remembered application, presentation, session, transport, network, data link, physical. I just know it the hard way, but whatever.
Okay.
It is what it is. All right. So things also about the CISSP open to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care how. You have zero experience. You can't. You don't even have to know how to spell security.
Right. Well, and what's great is, buying the book. If you're going to take the test, absolutely, you should get the book and really study. If you're just starting and wondering,
what is this?
Is this worth it? Is this something I want to get into? There's no investment for you.
Right.
Like, you're going to get enough understanding out of the material and the slides and the classes that, okay, this is something I want to do. Now go buy the book.
Right. Yeah, and we'll teach you everything you need to know to pass the CISSP. We'll also teach you all the things that you can forget about afterwards, right? There's a lot of crap.
So much.
The theory is good, but there's a lot of, Bella Padula, Orange Book, Red Book.
Yeah, and it's a lot of...
about it. You don't need to know that.
We talk about that in class.
That's a little dated.
Right.
We don't use that
but
anymore.
the theory was awesome.
It's how we got to where we're at.
Yeah. So if you don't know where to find it, you can just Google FRSecure CISSP Mentor Program and you'll find it. The registration is open. We're going to close it at 1,000, and I guess we're already over 540.
Mm-hmm.
It hasn't even been a week yet. The class starts in April. We'll run 7 weeks, 14 classes, maybe 8 weeks.
Oh my God. With a couple of breaks in there.
If you get tired of listening to me talk, Brad will also fill in. And if you get tired of listening to me and Brad talk, Ryan's going to be there this year. And Ryan's...
Can we make Ryan do encryption? Because that's the worst.
No. You should make
sure.
No.
Security state model. He's got to do the model.
You got to do... Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
That is the one where I'm almost reading from the slides.
Yeah.
I'm so into that one.
All right. Yeah, we're doing okay.
Yep. Right. You guys, you give me the ones you don't want, and I will try to make it a little bit more.
That's
sexy.
the one. I think last year I was like, I'm so sorry. Like 2 hours into the class, I'm like,
welcome to the pain session.
Yeah.
All right, so we got some news, but we're coming up towards the end of the show. The news articles, if you want to see them, are on evanfrancine.com. You can check out the show notes for episode 63 and find those. I have 4 things. One is hacker leaks passwords of more than 500,000 servers, routers, and IoT devices. Yay, hacker. Yay, insecurity.
Mm-hmm.
Windows server vulnerability disclosed by NSA. Don't wait to patch. That was all the news last week. Yep. Always patch, right?
And
patch for Crown.
I'm 99% sure this is what we were seeing in that IR in Q3 of last year, where we were seeing signed processes from Windows.
Right, that word.
With
weird dates doing things they shouldn't.
Yeah, so that's encrypt32.dll. We saw that first ourselves in the wild.
Yeah, but in August, September,
of last
and we
year.
could not figure out what in the world was going on.
In an incident response. And it got so bad that the client was calling us out like, you're just making stuff up, because nobody had ever seen it before.
Right.
And our team was like, no, we're not. Like, we can't explain why this is
Calc.exe should not be launching PowerShell that makes calls to a known malicious IP.
Right.
We don't know how it's doing it. We cannot we can't catch it in the act, but.
Yeah, we reported that too, didn't we?
We had multiple artifacts that had never been seen that we reported and then started showing up.
because it got expensive because we were trying to fight a fire that we hadn't seen before. And
they weren't being very helpful.
Longer, right? It's easier when you can Google something and say, oh, that's what it is. And, take remediation steps and mitigation, whatever. But here it was stuff, so it took longer, deeper forensics. And it got to the point where the customer was like,
memory analysis. And
the customer's like, no, this is all, you're just trying to make more money off.
It didn't help that they had
no, we're not.
They had a rule in place that was basically an any that didn't log what was actually happening.
Oh, fantastic.
And their guest Wi-Fi was open to their internal.
Oh, well,
yeah.
I mean.
And LDAP was open.
And LDAP unencrypted was open to the internet. So,
That hurt.
Maybe they just want to make it convenient for folks.
They did that.
So in this article, it's Network World. The title of the article is Windows Server Vulnerability Disclosed by NSA. Don't wait to patch. So just because it was disclosed by the NSA last week does not mean it's new. NSA does sit on things, and they did sit on this one. They sat on it, gave Microsoft plenty of time to issue a patch, which, is the right thing to do, I think. But I'm wondering, it's been around for a long time. It's been around since NT.
It has to be, because we were seeing artifacts of what we looked like were ultra pulsar too. So it had to have been part of the NSA toolkit that had been leaked, and that's.
Oh, wow!
I bet you that's what it was. Anyway,
the little eternal blue still floating around out there. Yeah.
All right. So patch. That's the key, and that you should always be patching. If you don't have a patch management program, well. Start with asset management, know that you have systems that need to be patched, and then you should go ahead and patch them. And that's not vulnerability management either. Vulnerability management also has to take into account configurations. So,
correct.
Just basic stuff again. Citrix. Yeah, right. ADC vulnerability. I like what the name they gave it. Some of the attackers gave it Shitrix.
Yes, I saw that hashtag trend.
Yeah.
Oh, man. All right. So critical ADC vulnerability exploited in the wild. There are exploits. It is happening.
We have 2 IRs active that were this.
2 IRs active right now dealing with this exploit. So if you're running Citrix, patch it.
Go get your updates.
You can't. The patches haven't been released yet.
I thought they just did.
They just dropped it.
Well, not for everything.
Oh.
No, you're right.
So there's some today, some next week, and now they're saying some on the 31st, depending on the model. So it's some, if you can patch, there's some manual remediation.
Okay.
However, there's questions on how effective the manual remediation is for all the models affected. So good luck.
Yeah.
So thus the Shitrix.
Right.
Yeah. Somebody was saying that they basically, can't remember who it was. A government was saying basically, if you have these, shut them down until it's patched. And that was on the 13th. 2 weeks, up to 2 weeks with just, you're down. You cannot have it open.
So this is impacting the Citrix application delivery controller, formerly known as the NetScaler ADC, and Citrix Gateway.
It's nuts. You can inject code into the URL for the XML file, and it will execute the code in the file name. So you just make the code in the file name, and it'll execute it.
So on the blog, on the show notes, we've got
it's nuts.
The news, and we've also got SANS has been, the Internet Storm Center has been tracking the exploitation. I think at least their handler's diary blog post from today, earlier this morning, has some good information about where attacks are coming from. Yeah, so maybe turn it off if you can't remediate it, I guess.
And the CISA does have a tool out there to check. So if you do the manual remediation, there's a lot of steps. You should absolutely run that tool and actually verify that it is effective.
Yeah, and since then, and one of the other news articles is from Graham Cluley, where he's the one that, he has in his title, Shitrix, has quotes from FireEye. FireEye has evidence, allegedly, that attackers are exploiting the vulnerability, closing the vulnerability, planting a backdoor so they can come back themselves, but lock everybody else out. And they're calling that not Robin. all one word if you want to read about that too. So it never ends. It's good stuff. Last thing in the news, the NIST released, National Institute in Standards and Technology released a new privacy framework 1.0. And there's more to read on that too. Privacy is a subset of security. So if you treat them as separate issues, do so at your own peril.
You can't have one without the other.
Truth. All right. Well, that's about it. Lots going on. Plenty of news. We could have talked all day about some of these news stories, and I'd love to hear more about the IR stuff that the team is fighting right now. But this is why they pay us the big bucks. Are we getting paid big bucks? I don't know. I get paid enough bucks to eat.
There you go.
Takes a lot of fuel to run a big truck. That's what I'm told. So I'm a pretty big truck. That's the end of our show. We'll close these things out pretty much the same way every week. Keep sending us your feedback. We want feedback, tips, whatever else you'd like us to know at unsecurity@protonmail.com. If you have suggested guests, one of the ones that I'm going to reach out to, I already reached out to him once, but he couldn't come. Brain fart. Whatever. We'll get some cool guests. Whatever. But if you have a guest that you want us to talk to, if you want us to include somebody on the show, let us know. If you're the social type, socialize with us on Twitter. I'm Evan. You can find me at Evan Francine. Brad's a cool cat. You can find him at Brad Knight. I called you a cool cat. Did you catch that?
I did.
He's a cool cat. Unless you'd rather be a cool dog. Do you have a preference?
I'm a dog person.
All right, cool dog. Ryan's not too shabby himself. You can follow Ryan at Cloutier, CloutierSDC on Twitter. And that's it. So we'll talk to you next week. Thanks.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the UNSECURITY podcast. We value our listeners and would love to hear from you. Give us your feedback by emailing us at unsecurity@protonmail.com. That's unsecurity@protonmail.com. Be sure to tune in next week to hear the latest insights from Brad and Evan.